Next up to speak is the one and only lover of good whiskey, khaki, and his family. Not so much in that order, I hope. Let's put our hands together for the father of the bride, also known as Silverback, Graham Gardner.
Oh, good evening, everybody.
No pressure.
No pressure. It's been we've had 4 weddings here, and this is the first one that I've been allowed to speak. So brace yourselves, eh? Also, the hardtack only comes out when I finish speaking, so I'll be here for a turn. Anyway, yeah. First of all, welcome. Welcome to this happy occasion. I'm going to make the cardinal mistake of actually, I'm going to thank people that are going to be thanked, and if I forget names or etc., you're going to have to bear with me. I'm 66, I can get away with it. I'd like to thank and welcome the people that have made a very, very long journey to get here. It's actually gobsmacked me. I mean, I wouldn't drive down from Midmar to be Georgina's wedding. And honestly, it's been quite incredible. Georgina's work colleagues, some of them the first time in Africa, flying all the way out from London. The Doll's House, which was her res in Downham. I mean, 4 of the 5 of them are here today, 6 years later. Sam coming all the way out from Spain just for the week, for the occasion. So yeah, I really do appreciate, and I know there are lots of people that have come from far and wide, and good shout and good effort. I think it bears testimony to the qualities of my daughter that people are willing to do that. It's already, Matthew has already touched on it, but let's spare a thought or raise a glass, whatever, for those people that aren't here today, and of course Louise is first and foremost. But a lot of people don't realize that 2 of the closest people in her lives at one stage, Andy Stanton, who was certainly a second father to her, and latterly Jackie Jordan. I mean, neither of them walk the earth today. So I'd like to just raise a glass to them and in their memory. What else? A couple of groups of people getting on to. Well, first of all, Gareth. I mean, it's incredible that it was 18 months ago when. You and Gina were out from London and you asked me to breakfast. And I said to Rosie, there's something wrong here because, in all the years I've known you, you've never asked me out to breakfast. So I did suspect that there was something afoot. And I said to her, I think he's going to bloody ask for my daughter's hand in marriage. And I was quite amazed at the effect it had on me. I mean, it was a done deal, but still. And then we went out. Remember that first bloody a restaurant had closed down for renovation. So there's all Gaz driving. We got to the second place and we sat down, and I was a little bit bloody edgy. And then we had the small talk, and then we ordered the breakfast, and I finished I had a cup of coffee and I finished my eggs, and he still hadn't said anything. And then they took the plates away, and I had a second cup of coffee, and I slid down further into my chair thinking, this is all cool, And then it came, oh Gray, there is one other thing I want to ask you. And he asked me that question, and I didn't realize the effect it was going to have on me. I mean, I was speechless for once. I couldn't say a word. I just got up and I went and hugged you, remember that? And I just said, you make me such a happy man. But I did say to you, if I was you, I would turn around, start walking, and don't look back. So, Gaz, I mean, everybody that meets you can see what a good guy you are. And as a father, it makes me so grateful and so relieved that my daughter's going to be walking a path of life with somebody like you. You know, you'll realize as you get older, life's going to kick you in the guts, eh? Just the way it is as you get older. And if you can have somebody next to you that's going to help you absorb those body blows, doesn't make life easier, but it does make it a bit more bearable. And I'm thankful that you are the one that my daughter said yes to. I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. I'm also happy to know that you are the strong, silent type, accepting when the virtue of your girlfriend is at hand. Well, he broke a hunter's nose in Namibia for insulting and nearly ended up in jail. So when the call comes, trust me, you don't want to mess with Gareth. Sandy, Terry, we're blessed as a family of the contact that we have with you. And I once again am so happy that Georgina has got involved with a family like yours, a fantastic mother and father from what I can see, who has brought up two magnificent sons. Rosie and I relish the time we spend together, and we do spend a lot of time together. And I do say to Georgina, you better not mess it up with Gareth, because I swear if there was a break, we would still be your best friends and we would choose Gareth over her. And she knows that. Chucky, grateful that we've met you and that we've had good times, both at dinner, supporting rugby, and for being so kind and giving to your grandchildren. And yeah, it's going to be quite interesting, because I have two bossy women in my life at the moment, you and Rosie. So I'm waiting to see who wins that one, huh? But honestly, thank you for your kindness and generosity, organising Zebra Hills and all the food. Very special, and I appreciate it. The Malawian and Zulu contingent. I just want to say, Zikomo Nyabonga, for everything that you have done with our family over the years. Cindy, for looking after my mother. Eunice, Elizabeth, for putting up with all the children's rubbish and trouble. And thank you very much. You're a part of our family for sure. And we do appreciate it.
Thank you.
We do appreciate it. It would be remiss of me not to mention my partner Rosie. It's just strange the way that it worked as a family. We had this bitter blow, funny enough, both families. And whilst it is quite telling living with you, Rosie, what we all appreciate, and I'm talking about all 6 kids, because yeah, we are 6 kids, it's a real Adams family, is that it takes someone cohesive to bring it all together. And I think I speak for all of us, is that we do appreciate the hard work that you put in. The gardeners have never really been renowned for their organizational abilities. And so the trips into the bush and the trips up to overseas, we understand the planning that it takes, dealing with 6 different divergent bloody groups of children, all with their bloody idiosyncrasies. And you do it very well. And we really appreciate that, and we love you for that, and I really do mean that. I am going to take this opportunity because, as I say, I've never been allowed to speak at a wedding at this place. I want to congratulate Suzanne on becoming a mother. We've got another granddaughter. Really. And for making my oldest so happy. So happy. All I see is a smile on his face since he met you. And we love you for that, Suzanne. We've got to really, really know you. Well done and good luck with that. Okay, so I don't know who else I've... Family and friends that are here. And it's quite strange because the last wedding we had, how many people were at that wedding? Can you raise your hands? So I find that, I find that interesting. And I mean, it is life, isn't it? It's just a whole, life is like that. You progress and a whole lot of new people come into your lives. Still as happy, still as bonded, but I find that amazing. Okay, now the last, I've got to get on with, onto my daughter, my darling Georgina. I did try AI and say, can you give me a speech of nice things to say to Gina? And the cell phone just fizzled, love. You came into this world under a little subterfuge. Some people may know the story, others may not. Is that Louise had her 3 boys and never ever tried to find out the sex of it. I mean, these days with the modern group they do that, but she never did. And it was only years later, it could have been 2 years, maybe even longer, that she confessed to me that she had taken herself off to the gynae, had the test, and realized that you were a girl. I said to her, I learned 2 things. I learned a thing there. I said, you can never trust your partner 100% because she kept that from me for 2 years. I said, you've got to have told Beth. She said, I promise I didn't. Did she tell you? So that's amazing, eh? She carried that bloody, that secret with her, and then it came out about 2 years later. So that was your entry, and what a delight it was. You were a headstrong girl, which was great. Always very kind and compassionate and loving. You then went to Morris Stella School after St. Martin's, and you have friends that were at St. Martin's here today, at Toto. And then Morris Stella, where I wouldn't say distinguish yourself. I mean, you did very, very well there. You did well academically, no question. I remember picking you up from the sports day, and you were little, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9, and you were so excited. You told me that you had won the shot put, and you said to me that Mrs. whatever her name was said it's not possible for a person to an 8-year-old to throw a shot put that far. It was so funny, and you were so excited. You played hockey. You were lazy. You could have been a very good hockey player. But your real talent actually was swimming. And I remember, I can't recall her name, Gina, but she actually called for a meeting and said, look, because you were winning the swimming races when you were young, he said, this girl's got real talent. But if she's going to take it to the next level, then she's going to have to go to swimming lessons, and it will mean dedication. Do you remember that, love? And I sat you down and said, look, this is a story. I don't mind taking you every morning because this teacher said you've got real talent and you could go places. And I remember you, even at a young age, saying, Dad, I don't really want to do that. I like my swimming, but I also like doing other things at school. And I always remember that you were quite single-minded. And then the other incident that springs to mind, and I'm traumatized even today, as in most schools, there was an issue with bullying, and it was at that time that I think people overreacted. And Morris Stella, as a lot of schools are, were concerned about it. And in their wisdom, they decided to bring in, I think it was a nun, and she was gonna do an inquiry and speak to all the young girls to see who they didn't like and who they did like. I mean, it's almost unbelievable. At their age, they're all little bitches. And this was a way of just... Anyway, so they did this long investigation, and then the next thing, we weren't aware that it was actually going on. We had heard about it. But I got a summons to see the headmistress. And your mom and I went along, and I was as excited as hell, because in my naivety, I thought they were going to call me in to award her a scholarship. I mean, I really did. She was achieving. I'll never forget sitting in the headmistress' office, leaning back, self-satisfied. And she said, look, we think we're going to have to suspend your daughter. Anyway, I realized then that I had to shut my mouth, but it was so funny because they just took me sideways, and then we had to fight to have you not suspended because one group weren't happy because this group weren't mixing. I mean, it was just insane. And then left Morris Stella, thank goodness, and off to university. She did a Bachelor of Science, and she wanted to incorporate that with an LLB. And it was at that time, actually, and just before that, when Louise was diagnosed with this terrible destructive illness. And we all battled with it, obviously, the boys, but Georgina was the youngest one, and she was down at university and did her BSc, and then did her LLB and graduated in the Dean's List. And it's something that I'll always look at you with pride, and my heart will burst. Because how could anybody, after that BSc, after losing your mother, be able to focus and get on with life and carry on with what had to be done and ended up on the Dean's List? And it's something that it just takes my breath away. And then the next step was the 8-month trip with Gaza. And it made me incredibly confident that she was going to be in good hands, because the little contact that I had with him, I knew him to be a guy that knew his way. He'd been brought up by his parents, appreciating the outdoors and the wildlife. And I felt 100% confident that he was going to look after you. And he did. And 8 months later, you returned to your dad. I wanted you to go 2 weeks later for another 8 months, but... And then it was off to England to pursue her career. And Gaz went along as her partner on a partnership visa. And then, typical father, once again in my love and naivety, I was expecting her to get to London and the law firms would be bashing the doors down to secure her services. She was doing a conversion, but a very competitive place, very clever people, and 1 month became 2 months, became 3 months, and I started getting a bit desperate because I was having to finance her. And after 3 months, she phoned me and said, look, I have been offered this job at a legal compliance firm. It's not much bucks, but at least it's income coming in. And she said, I'm taking it. So we'd realized that it wasn't going to be quite as easy cracking into a law firm. And I think you were there for, 18 months, love? And then to supplement the income there, she worked as a barmaid at the Leather Bottle. And then through a variety of occurrences, she managed to get an interview with an IP firm in the UK. 3 of the, is it 2 or 3 here? 2.
Robin and Lucy.
Yes, Robin and Lucy. And that was also one of the happiest days of my life when she phoned me and said, Dad, I've got the job. And it really was, Georgina. So, you got there through your own tenacity. You were prepared to wait wait in a pub at the Leather Bottle, doing what you had to do, and you ended up with Bristow's. I'm not sure they want you for too much longer, but anyway. And so what I'm trying to say is your tenacity and your spirit and your work ethic are just amazing. They really are amazing. But your biggest attribute, and the one that pleases me the most and fills my chest with pride, is your compassion for those people that are in less fortunate circumstances. And you've always been like that. You've always looked at people that are not as privileged as we had, and you genuinely embrace you. You've got a kindness and a spirit that is amazing. And I think anybody that knows you and knows you for as long as as I have will attest to that. And it comes out. I remember when you got the job and I came out and I wanted you to come and see your officers at Bristow's. I wanted you to introduce me to your boss. But you weren't going to do that. And we walked into the building, and the first person that you walked up and introduced me to was the doorman. What is his name? Kingston, sorry. But that was the first person, and she came up and he shook my hand and he said, I'm really pleased to meet you. Meet Georgina's father. I've heard all about you. And it was that simple act to me which epitomizes what you are. And I know that it's that attribute and that compassion and that interest in other people that is going to put you in good stead for the rest of your life. No question. No question in my mind. And for that I'll be eternally grateful, Gina. So that's me done. I don't think there's anything else that needs to be said. Let me just have a look. Well, only 3 brandy tots per person, please, the youngsters. Yeah. Let's raise a glass to the bride and the groom. The love of your life. She says I was long-winded. I don't give a shit.